The Dallas Cowboys head to Carolina, hoping to pounce on the Panthers this weekend and get another W for a winning record. Joining me now to break it down is our friend from Locked On Cowboys podcast and host, Landon McCool. Landon, good morning to you.
Morning, Dia. How's it going?
Great. Now we got to start where we start every week with the injury list. Last week we talked about how crazy long it was. Any better this week? Who's coming back?
It certainly seems longer than it was last week, but there is some good news in here. It does sound like Tyler Guyton, who was out last week in concussion protocol, is going to be back. According to Jerry Jones, who was on the radio this morning, says that he should be back. He's passed his concussion protocol test, so he should be good. Tyler Smith, who was injured last week or is dealing with some knee tendonitis that was a game-time decision. He ended up dressing out last week, but didn't play. I would be shocked if he didn't play this week. So the list may have gotten longer, but it feels like you may have a couple more guys coming back. Maybe not CeeDee Lamb, maybe not Turpin, maybe not your two other offensive linemen that you're still waiting on with Tyler Booker and Cooper Beebe, but a lot of folks coming back, and hopefully you can limp through one more week and get healthy next week.
All right, Landon, the offense has been stellar this season. The defense showed up last week against the Jets. Are they back to stay?
That's going to be an interesting question, right? Like, they made some adjustments clearly to try to, better play with the personnel that they have. And I do think that there was some good stuff. They still gave up a bunch of big plays and way too many big plays, and it's not where it needs to be. But it's going to be interesting to see if those adjustments, more man coverage, which I think was something that Trayvon Diggs specifically requested, pass rush showed up in a way that it hadn't previously, maybe due to some of the stunts and twists that they were doing. So if they use those same kind of schematic changes that they made last week, I think that we're going to see a better level of defense than we saw the first few weeks. I don't know if it's going to be good.
Oh, boy. All right, the Panthers got a much-needed win and a boost last week from a face that's familiar to us, Rico Dowdle. He had 200-plus yards on the ground, and he warned Dallas to buckle up. Can we stop him?
It's a good question. It's certainly, whether you're buckled or not, Rico's coming, right? I think the Cowboys are in a much better spot than they have been the past previous years to stop the run. And I think that, with Carolina, they have a good offensive line, but they're going to be missing Taylor Mouton, who's one of their better offensive linemen, their right tackle. So they'll be a little bit compromised as well. They're dealing with some injuries. And the reason that Rico is even playing as much as he is because they're missing their actual starting running back, who's Chuba Hubbard, who's out with a calf injury. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, the Dolphins are one of the worst run defenses in football, and they kind of proved that last week with Rico. Hopefully the Cowboys can play him a little bit tougher than the Dolphins did.
Let's talk about Bryce Young. He's been under pressure from both defenses and the fans this season. What do you think of him?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation, right? Like last year, he gets benched, about halfway through the season due to a car accident and injury that everyone was okay, but Bryce got another shot, and then the second half of 2024, he looked really great, and it looked like everything had clicked for him, and Dave Canales had really figured something out. You fast forward to the beginning of this year, and it feels like he had regressed a little bit. He wasn't playing as good football. Last few weeks, it feels like he has kind of eked back a little bit to what you've seen at the end of the 2024 season. I think the key with Bryce Young is to make him get into known passing situations, get into game script where he has to throw the football. They're one of the best first down passing teams in the NFL, but they're one of the worst on third down. So if you can get him into third down where he has to pass, you could probably get after Bryce Young and maybe force him to turn the ball over.
Okay, Landon, here we go. I got to do it. I want to know what your score prediction is for this week, but also if you could describe the feeling watching the Eagles-Giants game last night in one word, what would it be?
Well, I was out to dinner with my lovely wife when I got a notification, and I almost had to leave the restaurant. I was so happy about it. It was certainly a jubilation, I think is the word I would describe, just because it puts the Cowboys right back in this, right back into competition. And that's what I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game. This is a tough game. There's not a ton of games where the Cowboys are going to be favored to win, going here on out. They have a very difficult schedule. They have to pick this low-hanging fruit. So I'm picking the Cowboys to win a tough road game. Let's say 28-21 Cowboys.
Landon McCool, host of the Locked On Cowboys podcast. We so appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
You can always get the latest. Landon and the crew have daily episodes of Locked On Cowboys every day wherever you get your podcasts. You can also catch the newest episode today at 1 p.m. on our streaming app, WFAA+. And don't forget, join us for our call-in show on Monday to give us your thoughts on the Cowboys-Panthers matchup. That'll be Monday at 11:30.